Nishan, we can start now.
I welcome you all the participants on our page Shield Connect. And today on this digital platform, we have a special guest speaker from Delhi, Dr. Vandana Sharma. And ma'am is going to take a topic on PCOS holistic approach. So before we start with this webinar, let me give a little bit idea of our page Shield Connect. So let me share my screen. So this is our page shieldconnect.in, where you can see we have already won 5 digital awards for this platform. And you can find all the different webinars and blog sections available on our portal. So when you click on blog section, you will find all the latest blogs we have written and got approved by our speakers and the doctors who are endorsing this blogs on our page. And then this is the webinars that are being conducted. So you can go through this calendar, upcoming webinars, and as well as past webinars. So you can also see the past webinars that we have conducted. Then we have awareness pages like PCOS awareness page, menopause awareness page, GDM, COVID-19, thyroid, immune awareness pages. So if you click on PCOS awareness page, you will find all the videos regarding myth, then myth-breaking videos on PCOS by different doctors in different languages like Hindi, English, Malayalam. Then recently we have also updated COVID-19 awareness page. So you can find all the blogs and videos related to COVID-19 and fertility related issues. Then we have our leaders page, where you can find all the key opinion leaders who are connected with our Shield Connect page. So you can also go through their profile in this page. Then we have special day pages like Hypertension Day, Mother's Day, Women's Day. So if you click on any one of the day, you will find all the videos regarding to it. So currently, you can click on our page on a webinar, and you can see our today's session, that is PCOS Holistic Approach by Dr. Vandana Sharma. And ma'am is MBBS MD in obstetric gynecology. Ma'am is practicing in Noida since 2000 and in integrated wellness consultant. And ma'am's special interest is in preventive gynecology. So you can join through this link, and here in the comment section, participants, you can post your queries and feedback. So at the end of the session, we can have a Q&A with our speaker of the day. So I welcome you, ma'am, on our platform for today's webinar. And I will hand over the session to you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Many thanks, Mr. Nishan. And it's a privilege to be here on this webinar and share my views on the holistic approach of PCOS. So I'll start by sharing my screen.
Yes.
Okay. All of you can see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So day in and day out, all of the attendees and delegates in the gynecological practice are seeing so many patients of PCOS. And it's not merely a reproductive disorder, but an endocrinological disorder as well. And unfortunately, it's not manifesting only as hyperandrogenism or infertility or miscarriages or having problems in the pregnancy when they are having PCO. But also it causes distress to young women because of the issues related to the body fat, loss of hair, acne, poor sleep, bad moods, swings, and ultimately metabolic sequelae, which we all know of the metabolic syndrome, which PCOS can result in. And the exact etiology is also not known, but it does run in families, and it appears to be the result of environmental, both in utero and ex utero factors and genetic factors. But definitely the pathophysiology revolves around insulin resistance, the lack of exercise, and persistent hormone imbalance. We are aware of this diagram. Many multiple presentations and multiple times we have learned about this insulin resistance causing hyperinsulinemia, leading on to the decreased sex hormone binding globulin production, which causes increased androgens. It creates havoc in the ovaries. We have increased estrogen with increased LH secretion, infertility, and ultimately the hyperglycemia leads to release of free fatty acids. The increased free fatty acids further aggravates, and it's a cycle. And it goes on, ultimately leading to the metabolic syndrome. The Rotterdam criteria, in which 2 out of 3 are mandatory: hyperandrogenism, which could be clinical or biochemical; menstrual irregularities, which would mean less than 9 cycles a year or greater than 35 days between cycles; and the PCOM, polycystic ovarian morphology, with more than 12 antral follicles in one ovary or ovarian volume more than 10 centimeter cube. So the clinical features present differently: irregular menses, the insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes, alopecia, hirsutism, but not all will have all. So we have different phenotypes, in which phenotype A will present with all 3. In phenotype B, only hyperandrogenism and ovulatory dysfunction will be there, but the ultrasound will be normal. And in phenotype C, there is no ovulatory dysfunction, but the ovaries are still showing a polycystic ovarian morphology on ultrasound, and they have features of hirsutism. And in phenotype D, this is more common in my practice, I see ovulatory dysfunction and PCOM, but many times the obvious hyperandrogenism is absent. So insulin resistance affects almost 75% of the lean women and 95% of the obese women. This I picked up from the International PCOS Guidelines 2018. And having gone through the national as well as international PCOS guidelines, they are very, very good guidelines. And in detail, they talk about what are the different features, how to diagnose PCOS, and how to then treat it. And in fact, it talks about the multidisciplinary management, which now we have to take up for this syndrome, which is so common. It is like a pandemic in itself, especially in the well-to-do cities. Like I am from Noida region, and NCR, it's like every second or third girl walking into my clinic, my gynecology clinic, will be suffering from this PCO. So talking about the multidisciplinary, yes, we would need a good nutritionist, psychologist, because these girls have a lot of mental issues also, with body image, depression, difficulty in sleeping, and lots more, which is very, very nicely outlined in these PCOS guidelines. Having an endocrinologist in the loop, having a dermatologist because of the hyperandrogenic features of the facial hair and the acne, it helps to have this multidisciplinary approach. And in continuation with this insulin resistance, we've been using insulin sensitizers like metformin. And of course, it causes weight loss as a side effect, but it has its own side effects, the GI side effects. So then myo-inositol is a food supplement actually present in our diet as well, in the nuts, beans, citrus fruits. And it has an action like insulin. So it brings down the levels of insulin and the glucose, thereby increasing the insulin sensitivity, it increases the sex hormone binding globulin, so it decreases testosterone, and it has wonderful effect on the ovulation and improves the fertility as well. And the studies with 2 grams of supplementation of myo-inositol twice daily have seen the restoration of the spontaneous menstrual cycle faster. So the benefits have been seen by, in this chart, you can see there's both decrease in insulin as well as the BMI. And after 12 weeks of myo administration, the insulin sensitivity has improved, and so has the HOMA index. And the optimal ratio has been again chosen to be 40:1 after great studies, in which different ratios were seen of myo-inositol and decaro-inositol, ranging from 3.5 to 80:1. Finally, 40:1 has been shown to have the optimal effect of restoring the ovulation. So this is talking about a supplement, which we can even give in adolescent PCO. Now, coming to the root cause, insulin resistance. We've seen that insulin resistance is manifesting in so many of our PCO patients, whether lean or obese. So the cause of insulin resistance is chronic stress. What does stress do? It increases cortisol levels. And this has been associated with increase in insulin and glucose level. And by what do I mean by stress? People living in cities and the hectic city life and the demands, because the girls, the young women, or be it the reproductive age good women, most are working, most are in the metros, and they are faced with work stress, low emotional support, sleeping disorders. And this results in insulin resistance and in fact leads to type 2 diabetes. Inflammation, the type A body fat, the belly fat, the visceral fat, it makes hormones and substances which contribute to chronic and long-lasting inflammation in the body. And this inflammation plays a role in insulin resistance as well. And top it up with the sedentary lifestyle and not getting physical activity, which worsens the insulin resistance. So we would have typically a patient of PCO walking in with a sedentary lifestyle, poor eating habits, a weight gain, stress, and depressed. How do we deal with this patient? Manage holistically. So, like I said, the multidisciplinary approach is talking about how we can have different doctors consulting this patient and getting her out of her situation. But we have to think in the long term. The patient walks into us, maybe she is not able to conceive. The patient walks in with her mother that she's adolescent and not able to lose weight. Of course, we have not diagnosed polycystic ovary in her because that we can do only after her 8 years of menarche. But we still have to nip it in the bud and give her some guidelines as to how to manage. And interestingly, even in the PCO guidelines, which I have read, there's in every guideline there's written that the first step is dietary and lifestyle modification through exercise. And that is the first line of management, not drugs, not combined oral contraceptive pills or anti-androgens, which we would love to offer because they will have a miraculous effect. And the insulin sensitizers, it's like a magic wand. But for how long will we give them these drugs? So we have to attend to the root cause. We have to individualize each patient's concerns and see how we can manage her holistically. And what do I mean by holistically? So I have been following this 5-point program in which I include positive thoughts, physical exercise like aerobics and walks, yoga and pranayam I take separate from exercise, meditation and diet. Let me share with you today, for weight loss, a diet is 80% of the work done because 5 to 10% of the weight loss has shown in studies to improve insulin resistance dramatically and cause return of spontaneous ovulatory cycles. So weight loss is miraculous and through exercise and diet. That is why most of the guidelines are stressing on exercise and diet repeatedly. But there is no consensus as to what exercise and how much diet. And it is interesting to note that there has been studies in institutes like S. Vyasa in India, where they have compared yoga pranayam with exercise. And they have found that same over 12 weeks, 1 hour daily of exercise routine versus a guided yoga and pranayam meditation program, the result were very encouraging for the yoga and pranayam group. So it's very good to exercise, but why don't we up our game and being enriched with our Indian culture, and we have yoga and pranayam available at every, I think I would say in every nook and corner of the city, offer that to our PCO patients. So positive thoughts, exercise, yoga, pranayam, meditation, and diet is the 5-point program. Now, where do I get this 5-point program? I would like to share this concept of the body with you. This is not a new concept. This is again from our ancient texts, that our physical body is the Annamaya Kosh because we have sheaths. The one which is visible to us, like which we dissect in our anatomy halls or we study in the physiology, about the physiology of it, is all the Annamaya Kosh, the outer layer. It is overlapped by the Pranamaya Kosh. Pranamaya Kosh is the energy or the energy channels which we are aware of as the nadis. They are the meridians on which, the acupuncture or the acupressurist or the Chinese meridians, which we often talk about, and even the Ayurveda and homeopathy deal with this energy level. Because why would the acupressure, by pressing on the thumb, relieve my headache, or by pressing on some other point, relieve my problem of the spleen or the liver. So definitely our body has representation of energy, but these energy channels exist at a different level than a physical body which is visible to us. We are not taught about this in our allopathy system of education, but that does not mean that it does not exist. And that also does not mean that by attending to them, we are not doing anything. We can go for the healing methods which attend to the pranamay kosh, the manomay kosh, the vigyanmay kosh, and the anandmay kosh. I will not go in too much detail about these today, but this is the concept of the body which we would like to attend and use for making a holistic approach possible for the PCO woman. So I have just compared this. The Annamay Kosh is attended to by the diet and exercise, the physical exercise. That's Annamay Kosh, which is the physical body. Pranamay Kosh and Manomay Kosh, that's the mental thoughts, is attended to by the yoga and pranayama. And the Vigyanmay Kosh and Annamay Kosh by the meditation. And for those who are not able to meditate, go for Yoga Nidra. And today we have Yogacharya Gaurav, who will tell us a little bit more about the yoga pranayama and what I am talking about this, because this is again like the guidelines talk about a multidisciplinary approach. Even in the holistic management of a girl or a woman who comes with PCO, we should not hesitate to offer her, as a scientific person, these other ways of healing herself. Because when she heals herself from the root, from the inside, then automatically the physical body becomes healthy, the hormones get into balance, she starts to ovulate, she starts to lose weight with the conviction and the positive thoughts that she is important person. I always like to give them this mantra: love and approve of yourself and be kind to your body. Don't self-sabotage. These are the thoughts which I want to grill into them so that they go with a very positive attitude and approach this polycystic ovarian syndrome with something like which they have to accept, and then modify their diet and lifestyle and go on and deal with it in a very positive manner. And in this persistent space, it has to become a habit. So by lifestyle, we mean it has to become a habit as you would brush your teeth every morning. So it becomes a habit of following this way of life. So talking about meditation, Ramana Maharishi has something very nice to say about the thoughts which come to us during meditation. And everybody, whoever closes their eyes for a second, and if all of you will just close your eyes for a minute, maybe in initial 1 second, you will not get a thought. Thereafter, you will get bombarded with thoughts. So Ramana Maharishi says, you can only stop the flow of thoughts by refusing to have any interest in it. Simple, as simple as that. But everything needs practice. Everything needs practice. So it's practice and persistence. And if we go on the YouTube channel, there's a very nice source, PCO Club India, which I have encountered on the Instagram. And they have very good inputs regarding, holistic management. And one of the Insta Live chats was with a person who teaches you how to make a habit or how to do these every day, the lifestyle changes. So we have so many sources now, which we should encourage our patients to access and not just, give them an answer that, sorry, you're having PCO. And okay, now let me manage you by sending you to this doctor and let me do this test. And then we will see what will happen. And I'm sorry, but this is your body and this is the way it is. We cannot offer them hopelessness. We have to give them hope and we have to give them encouragement to go on, persist with the changes. And then when the miracle happens in their own life, they follow it for 6 months, then they generally don't need any pushing. May it be a young girl, may it be an adolescent, or may it be a person who's approaching menopause who doesn't want to go into the metabolic syndrome. So empower these women. And how do we do this? By this 5-point program. Today, I'll like to share a bit about diet. Like I said, 80% is diet. To lose weight, 80% is diet. So even in the guidelines, there is no particular diet which has been recommended, but everybody is watching the Netflix or the TV channels, and we are watching videos, advertisements of Healthify Me, showing Sara Ali Khan, who was a PCO, who admits was a PCO, and From 96, she's gone to 56. So they are doing calorie counting and coaching for regarding the diet. And you can see her eating salad. So I'm pointing out regarding gluten-free eating. And there are many other methods of losing weight, like through the diet. Like, for example, again, I'm talking about celebrities. Bharti, who is a comedian, who's now, of course, luckily pregnant, has gone through intermittent fasting, 16 hours of intermittent fasting, and miraculously lost weight. We've also seen her in the Kapil Sharma show. So it's interesting that these celebrities are sharing how they have lost weight, and it gives hope to all those others who are unable to persist with that and go into a routine of depression, because then they obviously have food cravings. And why is it that they have these food cravings? You know, it's because of leptin. And it's also because of that naughty processed foods which we are having. So it gives us food cravings, unfortunately, and lack of sleep and not taking good probiotics and having not a good microbiota in the gut all complicate the issues, increases the inflammation. One step ahead, I would like to share regarding the pesticide-laden foods which we are unfortunately surrounded with. The fruits and the vegetables are full of artificial fertilizers and pesticides. So no end to the toxins which in the environment which further the inflammations and increase the insulin resistance. Gluten-free eating is recommended only purely because gluten itself causes inflammation in the gut. So sharing about what is gluten, it's the sticky protein found in the wheat, rye, and barley, and it makes the wheat yummy. It makes the food tasty. And if you go for naturally gluten-free foods, if you go for cereals which are naturally gluten-free, we may not find it that tasty. So I will share the alternative to that also. This we all know, the gluten-free foods are fruits, vegetables, meat, poultry, dairy, beans, legumes, and nuts. And gluten is mostly found in maida, wheat sources, refined wheat, suji, maida. So it's formed in, available in this. So we have studies showing that weight loss of even 5 to 10% will help in reduction of hirsutism and return of ovulatory cycles. And the sex hormone binding globulin levels will rise. Free testosterone levels fall by 2-fold just by 4 to 12 weeks of dietary restriction and exercise. That's very encouraging. And then, like I said, different diets. So Mediterranean diet, keto diet, we've heard about different kinds of diet in Mediterranean. Of course, we start from the bottom of the pyramid, which is most important. Every day be physically active, enjoy meals with others, and go for vegetables, whole wheats, grains, olive oil, beans, nuts, legumes, and restrict the more poultry and eggs to once or twice a week and less of meats. Of course, they talk about wine also in moderation. Today, I would like to share benefit of fiber food in PCOS because it decreases insulin levels, the blood sugars, the cholesterol, and the blood pressure. It improves the gut biota. Very important. The gut biota is really very important. In fact, fermented foods is what we should alert our PCO women to have more of. Then it aids in weight management, reduces the hunger, minimizes the carb craving if you have more of fiber, prevents constipation definitely, and lowers the androgen level. And in this high fiber foods for PCOS, all of this is good. But for the whole grain, I'll make one mention that instead of wheat, go for positive grains. So I happy to share Dr. Khadravalli's, who's a research scientist from Mysore, his research on positive grains. Why are wheat and rice so bad? Because our ancestors never had this particular wheat and rice. The ratio of carbohydrate and fiber is the worst in wheat and rice, very less fiber. So I would request all of you to see the last column. And in this, any ratio less than 10 is a healthy grain. So the positive grains all have ratio less than 10. And what do I mean by positive grains? What are these neutral grains? So I'm talking of millets. Wheat and rice are also millets, but they are negative millets. The neutral grains, which we know of as bajra, which is pearl millet, ragi, which is finger millet, proso, great millet, and desi corn. These are all millets which we are still familiar with. And they are routinely available. And many of our dietitians are asking us to make ragi or bajra roti or jowar, right? But Dr. Khadravalli has talked about positive grains. So these are wonderful. And they, we cannot just take one particular millet for the whole 1 month. So he's suggested to take this millet, all the millets. So go for these 5 positive millets. Maybe you can take foxtail, barnyard. We can take all of this. In 10 days, we can consume 5 of this. So 2 days we take foxtail, 2 days we take barnyard, 2 days we take kodo, 2 days we take little, and 2 days we take round top. And the information about these positive millets, also called Sri Dhanya millets, is available on YouTube. And it's such an easy way to avoid gluten, such an easy way to avoid wheat and rice, because you're having your roti or all your kheer, your desserts, your snacks made not out of suji or atta or refined flour, but you're taking this healthy fiber-rich millet, which is also very, very nutritious. So if you see the vitamins and the iron content, all will have different. That is why we do not get stick to just one kind of millet. We keep changing. And we can also take neutral grains. So incorporating this in the diet is such a easy way of managing your weight and ensuring that you have a healthy gut. Of course, fat intake, we should not go for bad fats, go for good fats like nuts, coconut oil, and even desi ghee. It's very good. So we need fat, of course, for regulating our hormone function, for vitamin A, D, E, K absorption, healthy skin, and proper functioning of the brain. Not to forget the walnuts and the avocados. And avoid processed food. This we all know, very bad for our gut, causes inflammation. Exercise, much needed for a PCOS woman. Improves weight loss, insulin metabolism, regularizes the period, decreases the level of male hormones, and lower cholesterol levels. And then just sharing a few important sources of effectiveness of yoga. And I just mentioned that there was this program in which they conducted a comparison between PCOS women who were doing exercise versus women who were doing yoga and pranayama. And very good results was seen with the naturopathic and yogic interventions and certain other studies. Is Yogacharya Gaurav there? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. We cannot see Gauravji right now.
Okay.
Yes. Gauravji is connected. Yes.
Okay. So Yogacharya Gaurav is, I'll just see the screen. Yogacharya Gaurav, are you there? Yes. We cannot hear you. You are muted. We cannot hear you. No. Okay.
Gauravji, you have to select a microphone array as a speaking source in Zoom. So we will be able to hear you.
So can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, very lucky to have you here. So like I was sharing that we need a holistic approach, and we need more people to guide the PCO women on how to go about managing their disease. In fact, I really don't like calling it a disease because it's actually a lifestyle disorder. All you need to do is change your lifestyle. And there are so many inputs available all around us to help us do that. Only we need to reach out. So in my practice, I'm very lucky to have Yogacharya Gaurav here in Noida. And he guides the PCO women beautifully through the yoga. And what is this magic which yoga does? So he's a postgraduate in naturopathy and yogic sciences. So I'll hand over the mic to him.
Thank you, Dr. Vandana. And thank you, team of Shield Healthcare, for inviting me here. Although you have mentioned each and everything about yoga and everything, Dr. Vandana, and I am very happy to see you have involved each and everything, like you involved importance of this, you involved the practices of meditation. So although I will try to speak something about which you left here, there are some specific forms of yoga which really helps in PCO and insulin resistance. We'll start with first Surya Namaskar. As we already know, are familiar with the practices of Surya Namaskar. So Surya Namaskar involves a series of dynamic yoga postures performed in a specific sequence. A brisk Surya Namaskar performed in an energetic way, it increases the cellular requirements for oxygen and glucose. To meet these requirements, insulin production is stimulated through brain signaling. So there are lots of study has gone through about the Surya Namaskar and yoga posture. So there are specific yoga postures also which create stimulation in the organs, like there are Ardha Matsyendrasana, Mandukasana. So these yoga postures create stimulation in the uterus and pancreas also. All of the asanas and during any if you are focusing on any organ, so there is a process of yoga asana must to be followed, like it there should be a stimulation and process of relaxation. If we are stimulating anything or any organ, we must to relax just after that asana. So that stimulation and relaxation helps to increase the blood flow in the particular organ, and that blood flow has to channelize the energy. Some of the yoga asana, like it is a relationship between the body and mind and the awareness, focusing on the synchronization of breathing and movement. It involves stretching, twisting, movement, and relaxation. The key to performing a yoga posture is just to be performed with stability and comfort. Now we go for the pranayama practices. Pranayama practices, like as we know already, if we are inhaling and holding our breath, that holding of breath, it dominates the sympathetic nervous system, and that vacuum which is created through the pranayama, that vacuum especially works on some specialized organs. Like if we are doing Nadi Shuddhi pranayama, inhaling and just holding the breath just for a seconds, that seconds helps to create the vacuum. Now we'll talk about the yoga and meditation and how it helping in this reducing the stress and obesity. Although it is very impossible to eliminate stress completely from day-to-day life, however we are going anywhere, so we get lots of energies and lots of, we can surely build up our capacity to deal with it. That is where yoga and meditation help. Yoga is a great stress buster. Stress in women life can even lead to unwanted weight gain. So entering into a peaceful state lower the production of the stress hormone cortisol. Cortisol causes the body to store fat. Yoga eases any stress through breathing techniques that brings complete relaxation within the body. Now, how yoga is beneficial for the woman with PCOS. The science of yoga, a root cause of PCOS, is like stress and obesity. Yoga is much deeper than the physical body. Yoga helps to release deeply stored stress in our system, which can help in improving PCOS symptoms. Holding weight-bearing poses builds muscles. It increases muscles mass, helps to combat insulin resistance also. Apart from these practices, so there are something like yoga philosophy. Yoga philosophy, I would like to suggest is like whenever we are having some time, we just involved with our phone or we just involved with our negative thoughts. Yoga philosophy, we can involve some good text on some good books in our life. These books really can help us to give more knowledge about life, how to deal with the life situations, and how to deal with the daily stress. So apart from these practices, a suggestion from my side will be like, it is not necessary to many people here, we don't have time to sit for meditation, we don't have time to do yoga, but something we can involve in our life, like we do brushing to our teeth daily, at least 2 times a day. It takes 2 to 5 minutes at least. So whenever we are doing the brush, the lots of thoughts are going on in our mind. So you can just create this brushing into a meditation also. Whenever you just start with little bit things. You start with 5 minutes of brushing while meditation, or meditation while brushing, you can say. So close your eyes and gently brush your teeth very slowly and gently. So start from this. Then you can go for the bathing. So meditation don't require to sit in a posture actually. So you can turn your bath into meditation. So whenever you are taking bath, just feel each and every drop of the water on your body. So bathing can also be meditation. So then you can go a little bit higher level. You can involve mindful eating. Mindful eating is like feel each and every bite of food, how it is going, how it is swallowing throat, and really these small steps are able to bring a lot of changes in our life. These are the things which I do daily on my daily.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Mr. Gaurav. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And kindly tell me if my screen is, can I share the screen? Mr. Nishant?
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm
You
not
can
able,
share the screen.
I'll have to, I think, stop share because I'm not able to.
Yes, ma'am. You have to stop and reshare.
Reshare. Okay. Amazing that stress buster is actually a stress buster. So since we know that insulin resistance, the root causes stress, physical, emotional, mental. And if we apply yoga in our routine, isn't that amazing that we can deal with so much of our problem just by having a regular habit of yoga and pranayam and yog nidra. Yog nidra is also very effective because it relaxes the conscious mind and takes you closer to your soul. Is my slide visible?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Diet, exercise, yoga, pranayam, positive thoughts, and meditation. The more I talk about it, it's very difficult to talk about this. You have to experience yoga and pranayam as you would a routine activity, like you have to make it a habit. So I'll just share a recommendation. Let me come back to what type of exercises in PCOS. Okay, is this?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
No, I don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
So we are talking about exercise. Moderate exercises are all great activities. Brisk walking, stretching, jogging, yoga, Zumba dancing. What amount of good hormones and happy hormones are released in the body when we do these kind of exercises? It's only to be experienced. No amount of talking can tell you that how yummy the mango is. You have to eat the mango to realize that the taste of the mango. Same goes with the process of doing the exercise regularly. It should be so habitual that one day when you don't do it, you are missing something because the happy hormones are addicting. So one day when you don't do it, that the body asks for it. It should be like that. The routine should be like that. This is what we want to encourage in our PCO women, that go ahead and make this a habit. Do the yoga at least 15 times in the morning. Just go on the yoga mat. Even before you go for a bath. It need not be morning. It can be in the evening. Maybe 2 hour, 3 hour empty stomach. Just go on the yoga mat. And then, of course, these kind of exercises. So interesting. This grid is interesting because it talks about an exercise guide in which, if you notice on this end, they're talking about the aerobic for 4 days in a week. And the exercise ideally should be 2 hours and 30 minutes. That is 150 minutes each week. So half an hour each day with moderate intensity, or it could be 75 minutes with vigorous intensity. And strength exercises 2 days in a week, which Yogacharya Gaurav just mentioned about the slow asanas, which are also as good as the push-ups or planks and lunges and crunches mentioned in this strength exercise. These are weight-bearing exercises. So the suggested schedule would be for 5 days, of which 3 days can be cardio, 2 days can be strength training. So this also has to be individualized for each patient. Not everybody can do cardio, not every day or 3 days a week. Not everybody would like to do yoga. and not everybody can do strength training. So let the person decide what is best for them. Just up their game a bit. If they're already doing walk, ask them to go for brisk walk. If they're already doing brisk walk, ask them to up and go for some push-ups, planks, crunches, and Zumba, or gently nudge them towards a guided meditation like Yog Nidra. It is a bouquet which we have to offer to them, and we have to customize it for each patient. And then the 3 S's for PCOS: hormonal imbalance. What are they? Stress management. Already Yogacharya Gaurav has just explained how beautifully yoga can decrease the cortisol, how it can, being mindful in the moment, can just dissipate the stress. No anxiety of the future, no stress of the past. Just be in the moment. The stress management, because chronic stress is one of the key driving forces of PCOS. Remember, it increases the inflammation, worsens the insulin resistance, increases the testosterone production, and impacts negatively your emotional well-being. So bust the stress. Quality sleep is really important, because sleep is a healer. All living beings sleep, even animals sleep, even plants sleep. We get back to our source in the depth of our sleep. Sleep is a master reset button for your hormonal status. A lack of sleep can impact your hormones, energy, hunger cravings, performance, everything. Quality sleep is incredibly vital to overall hormonal health. So this S is also really important. And smart supplementation. If we do not get our, everything which we need from the food that we eat, let us supplement smartly. Go for the vitamin D, B12, yes, for some time, minoxidil, and ensure that you're taking the multivitamins. If you're getting it through your fresh fruit, vegetables, your sensibly selected cereals and grains, nothing like that. Nothing like that. Natural is the best. And these are the 3 S's which we must remember. So the take-home message: a comprehensive management of PCOS requires a patient-centered approach, significant time dedicated to thorough education and counseling. Yes, it means the gynecologist will have to spend extra time, but that first visit or the second visit, when you get her back to you with all the blood tests and the basics, let that be more than a half an hour consult. And be very compassionate and be in the patient's shoes. When it would be lovely if we can be in our patient's shoes when we are, giving her these suggestions. That they should be practical, easily doable. There's something called SMART. It should be specific instructions. They should be measurable. They should be accessible, and they should be doable. And we should have a timeline to it. Remaining up to date on newest advances, whether in the literature and whether available on the media, the YouTube. We should be open. We should be open to experimenting with newer ways of, keeping our life as it should be, and not haywire as it is in the hormonal imbalance situation. Treating the root cause rather than the symptoms, and most importantly, empowering the patient to manage the disease. It's doable, and it's with the assistance. You have all the assistants around you. Give them the confidence, help them empower, and let them manage the disease. I think that's all I have to say today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for giving this beautiful presentation on this topic, holistic approach. And I also thank to Mr. Gaurav Balyan for giving important information regarding yoga, how yoga is helpful in PCOS. So let me check if we have any queries in the comment section. So I have one question for Mr. Gaurav also. Regarding some 2 asanas like Dhanurasan and Bhujasan. Does it have any effect on body in PCOS women?
Okay. Is Mr. Gaurav there?
Yes, Gaurav ji hai.
Yes, I am here.
Yes. So this is regarding these 2 asanas also, Dhanurasan and Bhujasan. Does it have any effects on body in PCOS women?
Dhanurasana, and second asana was? Bhujangasana.
Kovrasana, yes.
Yes. So Dhanurasana creates a compression in the abdomen region actually. It helps to enlarge the chest region. It helps to intake of oxygen. And Bhujangasana, asanas are similar actually, but Bhujangasana has, everyone cannot do Dhanurasana. So Bhujangasana is a preparatory asana for Dhanurasana. So Dhanurasana really is very, very, very helpful. It helps to create stimulation in the pelvic floor also. So,
and I can just add, Mr. Nishant,
yes,
that, yes, the asanas are really important for giving energy to the reproductive organs, because they both Bhujang and Dhanur, which have been mentioned. Besides that, there's boat pose called Nauka asana.
Yes.
In which you make a V position with your buttocks on the ground and your legs are straight and elevated like this, and you're like this. So this is also very good for the Manipur chakra, the third chakra, and it stimulates the Swadhisthana chakra also. And so does cat-cow pose, so does
butterfly.
Yes, beautiful. So all these asanas are energizing for our the chakra, which feeds the reproductive organs. But like Gauravji just mentioned about Surya Namaskar, that is Ramban, because it stimulates all the chakras. And for example, the thyroid and the pituitary glands, all of this is also stimulated because the blood flow improves. And when we do Surya Namaskar, all the blood flow is going to the brain also.
And one more practice, Dr. Vandana, I would like
be
to.
Helpful for. Yes.
Yes, Mr. Gaurav.
And there is one more practice. This practice is not suitable for all actually. We must to see the condition of the patient also. If there is a high BP or hypertension with patient, so it is not recommendable. So practice is Agnisar Kriya. So Agnisar Kriya, what we do in Agnisar Kriya, we just inhale and exhale through the mouth, and we hold the mouth after exhalation. After holding the breath, what we do, we just stimulate our, we just do the pumping of the abdomen region. Means active pulling a stomach inside. Hopefully you are getting me. It's pulling the abdomen inside. Yes, that contractions and relaxation of abdomen region. So it is really, really very, very beneficial for the PCOD patient. I have seen in many patients, but only patient should not be the hypertension or because there is a holding of the breath.
So even medical history is also important to check before doing any yoga asanas.
Some pranayam or some practices.
Like for Kapalbhati.
Kapalbhati is recommendable for everyone actually. Only you must to focus on the speed of Kapalbhati. You cannot do fast Kapalbhati.
Yeah.
So, like everyone cannot do the silence, cannot do silence meditation. If someone has faced some trauma in life, if they do silence meditation, they may go into that trauma.
Yeah.
So we must to see the condition of the patient also before prescription the asana or meditation. So like Yog Nidra, Dr. Vandana just said, I forgot to mention, it is recommendable for each and everyone. Even we are healthy, but if you do 30 minutes of Yoga Nidra before sleeping, you will feel the energy level in the morning. So if we can feel we are healthy, so the patients who are facing some mental disorders, some facing some kind of a stress, so it is really very good for them.
It is also important that patient counseling is needed before doing any exercise. Am I correct, ma'am?
Definitely. And you have to always up their game. You have to see which level they are at. If they've never ever exercised in their life, it has to be baby steps.
Yes.
Doable for them. It should not be a daunting climbing of Mount Everest, treating the polycystic ovary. It should be very easy. They just have to take one more step. So you have to encourage them. You have to be, and that's why I said you have to be in the patient's shoes.
Yes.
Maximum. Give them compassion and be with them. Be there for them.
And then the second question regarding now during this COVID era, the sleep cycle is disturbed for everyone. So how much sleep health is important that can impact on PCOS women? Like most of the teenage girls binge watching on Netflix till midnight, then work from home women working till late nights. So what is the impact of sleep on PCOS?
Mr. Nishant, there's something called chronomedicine. It's there's something there. If you see the West, turn to the West.
Yes.
They're now discovering and stating what our scriptures have already been saying all along. With sundown, you sleep. The body slows down. With sunset, you get up. You are energized. As
Yes.
as that. And our younger generation more so is only interacting at 2 a.m. in the night on their web calls. For some reason, all the students, all the young mothers, even the doctors, their children, they will be, agreeable to what I'm saying. It's amazing that this new generation is not, that is why we are bombarded with this kind of problems like insulin resistance in this newer generation. It's like a pandemic. And our age group, we didn't have that much of PCO as we are seeing in now.
Yes.
Productive age group and in the young adolescents and the obesity, everything is linked. Sleep is really important. That's why in the second last slide, I just mentioned about sleep.
Yes. 3 years.
The master reset button for your hormonal state. It is without sleep, I don't know whether you have to be a big time meditator not to sleep. Otherwise, everybody needs sleep. Everybody. And good 6-7 hours of sleep, of which deep sleep and quality of sleep is also important. Sleeping 10 hours is not the solution, 12 hours is the solution. It has to be a quality sleep, rested sleep.
Like they should keep a device different, like in different room or away from them. Then they can.
Yeah. We should have a control over the mobile usage and not, expose ourselves to the blue light before sleeping 1 hour. And like just Yogacharya Gaurav shared just that about Yog Nidra, if you want, we can
Yog Nidra, yes.
That we can do any time of the day, because in that the deal is you don't have to sleep in Yog Nidra. You have to listen to it and become very, very relaxed, go into a relaxed state of mind while being conscious. True Yog Nidra is that. It's a misnomer. It's not sleep. It is relaxing your conscious mind. And then you can, heal yourself and heal your subconscious, because all the stress is also stored in our subconscious. It's somehow, Mr. Nishant, I think there's a collective unconsciousness in the entire world, which is undergoing this stress. That is why we have many teenagers and many youngsters now turning to mental health professionals and going for psychological counselings.
Yes.
More so in the COVID era. So many people need this. So it's collective unconscious. All of us are having that. We're linked. All of us are linked. So if you go by the, scriptures, it's science. And there's a science of, like I mentioned, we are looking at the West and they're doing this scientific discoveries. Psycho-neuro-immunobiology. It's a big time science. Psycho-neuro. How are our mind-body connected? It's basically...
Yes.
So everything is related to our mental state and our thoughts. That's why positive thoughts and affirmations are so important for the PCO woman. I am fit. Just she can do in Yog Nidra. She can tell her subconscious mind, I lose weight easily. I have a good sleep. These are the affirmations which she can make. So there are endless tools available. Only you have to reach out. So our job as a doctor is to reassure them and show them the path and have them explore on their own and encourage them when they're doing it, not dissuade them and push pharmaceutical, medicines down their throat and disappoint them. Our job is to just nourish them and make them, come out of this situation.
Thank you, ma'am, for giving all this important information in detail. And one last question, ma'am, for adolescent PCOS, how do you counsel teenagers who have goes through depression due to some cosmetic issues, like they don't look good, their skin are not good due to PCOS condition? Then how do you counsel such teenagers?
Yeah, actually, we'll have to take their parents into confidence. Themselves may not be at that maturity level to understand that what interventions or what thought processes they have to go through to come out with this. The solution still remains those 5 points which I shared with you. The solution is, but they may not be at that maturity level to understand.
Yes.
take the help of their parents, make sure that the parents wean them off these food cravings. And how can they do that? By having them eat nutritious food. And it's a cycle. The food cravings, depression causes the food cravings.
Yes.
Because of the poor body image. So it's a vicious cycle. Why has the poor body come? Because of bad food habits.
Bad food habits.
In utero exposure, it's not just environmental, ex utero. When they were in their mother's womb, at that time only it was the exposure which caused the hormonal changes in the body. And now they're ending up with post-pubertal. When they're coming up, they're gaining weight, having acne and facial hair, and losing the hair. And it's very, very sad, of course, because the media is such that they glorify the beauty. So unfortunately, yes, it is depressing, and it's guide them. We also encourage them to take some psychological counseling if there are pediatric counselors, child psychologists available. So if the depression is to that extent, there is no harm at all approaching them. There should be no stigma attached in seeking help in any manner, and encouraging them to go for exercise, playing outside. Like I said, hormones. You can get addicted to playing because it gives you such a feel-good feeling. So go for it.
Thank you, ma'am, for all this information regarding this counseling related part also for different kind of PCOS women's patient. And I also thank you, Mr. Gaurav, for giving many information regarding yoga asanas and how it is impactful on PCOS. So this was very new thing done on this webinar, and we are very grateful to have you both on our platform, ma'am, today. So I thank you, Vandana ma'am and Gauravji, for having time with us, ma'am.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure being here.
Thank you for supporting Shield Healthcare, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we will wind up this session, and I also thanks participant for joining to this